Hello, everybody. Welcome to studio time. So we were able to get all the spaceship back up and running. So we got all of our cameras and our hard drives back online, which is great news. So what I'm going to do today is yesterday we developed a composition, right? We talked about the composition, the elements of the composition. And what we're going to do today is we're going to go over to the palette and I'm just going to be mixing paints and show you how I develop the color scheme I'm going to be using. I don't know that I'll get to the answer today, but I want to show you the process that I use in doing it. Okay, so if you guys are ready for a bunch of color mixing, what do you say we get to it? All right, so Cindy's with us, so she can be handling your comments and everything on the computer. And she's going to be handling the switchboard. I hope she remembered that. Hey, so
Hi, everybody.
can we bring him to the palette? All right. So um, we'll go this way so things are being. You can read what we're doing. You read that? Yeah, you can read that. All right. So as we talked about yesterday, we have a warm orange red skin tone. You guys will remember. Can you guys up picking that up? All right, kinda. We worked on the iPad. There we go. And so we've got the skin tone, we've got the path, we're going to have tree trunks. That's all going to be in the warm family, our oranges and things like that. And then we have the trees and the sky, um, his sweater, what he's wearing, and the goatee, and that's going to be blue or purple. So what I'm going to play with today is basically an orange, green, purple triad. And I've got all these colors out, and I'm going to stick some out and start playing around and see which ones I like. Now, there are about, I think technically, scientists will have to check me, I think there are about 300 trillion different greens. Of course, that's an exaggeration,
I was gonna
but
say.
there are a ton of greens. And since there's so many greens, but the reds and the oranges are a little more limited, I'm going to go for the orange that I like and then work on the purple and the green to go with that orange. Okay, so it's important to have a starting. So what do we have here? Well, yellow ochre is always a good thing. Uh, like that's just going to be, I think, way too much. Way, way, way too much. There's some colors I don't usually use that we'll be interested in. There's a transparent orange oxide here. There's another transparent red lake oxide. I got burnt sienna. I don't know why, uh, I don't think I've worked in sienna since maybe when I first started painting. So I can't really remember even what that does off the top of my head. But let's squirt some of those out and just see where they are. I'm going to set this aside because I don't think that's going to serve us here. Let's see, transparent earth orange. Tell that hasn't been opened in a while. There we go. Man, that would have been embarrassing. Start to show off by not being able to open a tube of paint. Woohoo! So at least I'm not advertising fitness, so I guess we're okay. So where are we at here? So that was probably way too much for our little experiment, but what the heck? We got cameras up and running, and let's
Live on the wild side, Jay.
play
Live
with
on
some
the wild side.
paint.
Do it.
All right. And what is that? That's burnt sienna. Now again, it's not so much about how it looks as it's coming out of the tube as what it does when we mix it through the other colors and what kind of harmonies we can create with our greens and our purples. Transparent, Oxide, Red Lake. All right. There we go. And again, you're only going to do this if it matters. If it doesn't matter, and if you just want to throw something out, well, that's what you're going to do. But the results you get are probably according. So that was burnt sienna, and this is Terra Rosa. All right, so that's by far the Terra Rosa is by far got the most. All right, you can see that just by looking at there on the palette, right? You can see that from that shot right there. So far, now that doesn't mean that's what we're going to use or that's what we need, but that's the most right there. And I think that's enough for us to play with. How many do you need? Come on, come on. Burnt umber's always good. It seems like I've got a big fresh tube here, so God knows how old this is. Especially when they've been sitting around. Well, it's not too bad. They usually have burnt umbers or.
Here's a question of mine. Do paints expire?
Well, it depends on how workable they can become. You know, they can get dry and sticky. And it differs from pigment to pigment, but most every paint. I should check myself before I say that. By far the most common. You know, I don't want to say every or almost every, but linseed oil is what the dirt's suspended in. And what will happen is the linseed oil will separate from the pigment, the rock, the ground dirt, whatever you want to call it. I think of it in my head, because I'm not that scientific, is it's just colored mud. And we put this colored mud, and that's not too far from it, except mud is generally with water and not with oil.
Gotcha. I'm just curious. Thank you for that.
I give long-winded answers. It's what I do.
You are consistent, and I love that. But no, it was good. Seriously, because, I mean, who knows? That literally crossed my mind, and I'm like, I really have no idea.
It was a good question. It was a good question, and I enjoyed it. Okay. All right, so what are we doing here? We're doing some warms. And remember what we're going after. We're going after some tree trunks. We're going after the skin tone. And we're going after the path or the road. Those are what we're going to need some of those to do. And let's see what we got here. I've got all kinds of greens and stuff here that I just haven't been able to play with. And yeah, this is a little bit wasteful, but it's also an education. Like, I don't know if I've ever used, I think these were all gifted to me. We got Terra Verde. We've got a couple of Terra Verdes, and the difference is where they're from, right? Because again, it's from one region, it may be a certain pigment, and if you get it from another region, it's from that. And that may be something else. Let's see, that's ancient, and that's new. So, and I could be wrong on that on those particular colors too. Again, I just want to know if they look pretty in my painting. So you're not going to get a lot of historical from me. And we've got Viridian. And then I think these two are still going to be just way too much. A phthalo green, a permanent green light. We've already got an olive green. Viridian's a really cool green. And then, of course, we could always mix with yellow and blue, which would give us a billion other greens. But this isn't how many greens you can mix. And this is about, hey, I need a color scheme for this painting. What kind of purples we got here? We got ultramarine violet, we got a manganese violet, and a cobalt violet hue, which, if I'm not mistaken, this was actually gifted to me, or I inherited that from David Jonas.
Oh, really?
So, like, feels pretty stiff. I don't even know if I'll be able to squirt that out of the tube.
Oh yeah, it's mushy on the bottom.
Yeah, but it's got to go
But
through the
yeah, it's got
top
to go through the top.
to get out of there.
Yeah, you kind of got to just work it around. But yeah, I can see.
So we got
I
some
like the purple.
Portland grays.
I'm partial to purple.
You are a purple lover.
Why, thanks.
Are a purple lover. All right, let's see.
Okay, this is why we love Susan. She throws these in. It says theoretically, there are an infinite number of shades, but humans can only see a limited range, like 500 shades of gray, not 50.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew it was a limit on the human eye, but like I said, the specifics of the numbers and the measurements, that's not my game. Those things just don't stick with me. So I'm glad you're here, Susan, to remind us.
Thank you, Susan.
All right, so as we come across through the yellow, so we kind of got reds up through the oranges, through the yellows. What do we hit when we go through yellow? We hit green, right? What do we got? A yellow green. That's going to be our most yellow green right there. Phthalo and Viridian are both really cool. And then these are going to be earthier greens, kind of on the inside. And there's a jasper here, which I've had for years and years and years. And don't forget our good old olive green. So again, I've got a feeling we're going to go with something more there than here. Okay, because in this painting, these greens are playing a supporting role. Wait, a supporting role? Who's the main star?
Me.
Right? You're always the star, baby. You're always the star.
Sorry. Oh, is it Friday?
So we've got our greens, we've got that, and then what happened to our purples? Our purples got swallowed over here. But let's put our greens out. All right. So I hope you guys like this. Let us know if you do. Give us a thumbs up because this is a lot of money we're spending here. Boom, 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 boom. And you guys know it too because I've seen the kind of piles of paint you guys set out. I've seen them. I've seen them, I've seen them, I've seen them. And it would take most of you guys about 7 paintings to squirt that much out. Change that habit. Change that habit.
That green, to me, took me right to Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, and I mean, really? I don't think we need that. That's a permanent green light is what that is. And so like to me, if we were like painting plein air or something in the summer, boom, boom, that's more of a color like that. Phthalo is just going to knock our heads off. So, I mean, you need like a very small amount of that. I'll keep my analogies to myself today. I don't have the enthusiasm today that I had yesterday. You might have got hit with it yesterday. Who knows? Everything was flying yesterday. I hope nobody got hurt. I hope nobody got hurt. My apologies if you got caught in the crossfire. Some days it comes out hot and heavy.
Oh, Shakti is asking if it's blurry for anyone. Not on my computer. I'm looking at my personal computer as well as the main one. But I also changed the shot.
Is the movement being blurry? So the movement will be blurry. Yeah, so Susan says, can we throw Susan's comment up there? I like it, but it's an overwhelming number of greens. Exactly. Let's remember what we're doing. All I'm doing here is trying to come up with a color scheme for the painting that I designed or was working on yesterday. So this is a little bit of experimentation, and I thought I would use it just to show you guys. When I'm doing this, I don't go through these numbers. I'll choose one or two of these, and I'll see, hey, how does this work? Boom, boom. But I'm doing this more for demonstration purposes on this scale. I do occasionally do this if I'm just stuck and I can't get a right combination. I'll lay out what I have and just start playing and see what happens. Okay, but again, we're not going to be using all of this. All we're doing is deciding on what colors we want to use in our painting. And then we'll do some color studies. That's probably not going to happen today, so don't want to get anybody excited. So this is an olive green. Let's see, I'm throwing things around and you guys might want to know what they are. I don't know if you can read them. So there's phthalo. We had a viridian somewhere. Here's a viridian, a permanent green light. This here is an olive green. Look at this jasper. This jasper's yummy. Jasper is yum. Oh, look at that. It's like a warm gray green, right? Warm in that it leans over to the yellow rather than it leaning into the blue. Okay, so that's a warm green versus a cool green would be basically a yellow based or more yellow dominant versus a cool green would be more of a blue dominant, generally speaking. Because when you get down to it, this is all about relationship. We got Terra Verde, ancient Terra Verde, or I don't know. I can barely read English and I'm trying to read Italian. Good luck. Good luck. I'm kidding. I can read just fine. But my eyes don't like it. My eyes do not like to focus on those letters. I got my glasses so that I can see my paint. That's not necessarily the same thing as that. So what is that? Terra Verde. So that's, again, we don't know how it's going to mix, but that feels like a cool or green to me, which might come in handy since we want our greens to recede from our oranges, which are not very strong, right? If you have this orange, well, it could handle that green, right? These oranges are not going to be able to handle that green. Now, that doesn't mean that green might not serve a purpose in mixing or something like that, right? That's a whole nother story. But again, let's not get too complicated here. Too late. Too late. All right, what do we got here? Should we see if we're going to be able to open this tube? Cobalt violet. All right. 20 minutes opening tubes of paint. Wow. I hope you guys have time to stick around and see what we do with these. I hope I've got time to stick around and do something with these. Ooh, that did come out, and let's play with a lot of that. What is that again? Cobalt violet hue.
Yeah,
This is literally,
Izzy's gonna be doing some painting tonight.
this is decades and decades and decades old painting.
Where do you think you got that one?
No, this is, I'm pretty sure, came from David
Oh,
Jonas.
that's right, from David. Oh,
Yeah.
hi, David.
Yeah, thank you, David. David Jonas, great artist, and he mentored me lived in Los Osos. Took my first landscape painting class from him down at Malibu State Park.
I remember that.
Those are really close. Manganese violet and well, they look close out of the tube. Sometimes that can be really deceiving because they might mix very, very differently. And that's what, you don't know what a color is till it mixes, till you get it mixed up, right? You get mixed up with the right crowd, what does it do? If you get mixed up in the wrong crowd, what does it do? We got to know how it's going to act.
Okay,
and finally, what's our question?
Miss Susan is asking, any tips for those of us who are horrified to waste even a pea-sized dollop of paint?
Come to the wide shot if you would. That's not a wide shot. That's the wide shot. There we go. So one of the first things that my painting teacher told me, Mr. Mendez, and I was not really in a place where I could afford to even be taking painting classes, much less think about paint. He said, I don't care. He said, when you're squirting out paint, you pretend that you're just a millionaire. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First off, it's not about wasting paint, but you don't know what you need and how to do it. So I can almost guarantee you, and I know this is true for me, your first piles are going to be wrong. Yeah. If you want to get to good piles of paint, you're probably going to have a few piles of bad paint, of making wrong turns. Well, what are you going to do with that big wrong thing? If you don't have enough paint, or if you don't want to spend any, you know what you're going to do? That's going to go on your painting. And guess what that does to the quality of the painting? So stop it, right? That's the easiest thing you can do to start. So just realize you're going to have to use some paint. It is better, and I believe this with all my heart, if you're really on a budget and can't manage it, then you only work with black and white. And when you put black and white out, you put it out like you're a millionaire. Okay? Because only then are you going to have enough freedom and you're uptight enough, right? And we're searching for something. So you need enough gas money, you need enough food, you need enough time in your schedule to be able to waste some mileage to figure out which is exactly what I'm doing here. Again, this is a lot more than I would generally do, but hey, I hope it makes a good video. And I've been wanting to test this out too. So let's just get in here and see what we can do now, okay? I hope that helps, Susan. I hope that helps. And trust me, I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but the thing is once you learn what you're doing and how to mix it up, um, I should address that too. So one of the reasons you've got to put out gallons of paint right now is because of the surface you're painting on. You know, if you spent $75 and worked on, 3 solid coats, not 3 commercial spray coats, 3 solid coats of real lead white that were sanded down, you're going to use literally probably about 1/10 of the paint that it would take to work on what you're working on now, right? Most of the paint is wasted because it gets soaked into the surface that you're working on. Because everybody, including a lot of professional artists, work on crappy surfaces, right? The idea of the paint surface is that it's sealed and it's smooth, so the paint literally sits on top of it. There's got to be enough adhesion so that it's just not sliding around. But again, the better that can be, boom, the amount of paint you actually need goes way down if you know, right, how to get where you need to go. The only way to really learn that is to go through a lot of paint, right? And most of that paint is going to go in the trash. And it helps to know that. You know, now I say this at the end of the day, I'm horrible about cleaning up because maybe I could get back and use more of that paint. So what do? I cause myself trouble because tomorrow it's going to take me 3 to 4 times as long to clean that paint up. That would have took 2 minutes, 3 seconds to wipe it up when it's wet. So I don't know. You've always got to get in a thing. You paint pretty often, so kind of get in the rhythm. And then also, some of the colors will stay good for a while. Others of them, sometimes you're lucky to get half a day out of them, right? Sometimes in the umbers and stuff. So it all differs.
She said, I'll try.
I know you
There you
will. I
go.
know you are dedicated. You are dedicated. Let's see. We need some whites and blacks and maybe some grays.
That is a pretty circle of paint.
All right. And you know what? My spaceship crashed this weekend. So I I need this. I need this. It's just put me in a better place. Again, it's really excessive if you think about this as being for a painting. Right? So like always, what I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage you to kind of widen your frame of reference and what we're thinking about and doing. This is about your education and learning about beauty, right? Because anything I learn on this painting, guess what? It's going to go into my bank of knowledge and experience, and I'm going to use it again and again and again. So if you look at this and the cost of this as an education, what's your education worth? That's essentially what it is. And it's funny, but I had a hard time doing the same thing with all the technology that we're using right now. Oh my God, I don't want to spend that much. Well, do you want to do this or not? Right? Do you really want to do this? You can talk about it, or just, hey, what's it going to take? Let's do it. And I don't always have that attitude, but right now I kind of have that attitude and I'm going with it. I'm going. And you just got to be large and in charge. This is the very last of my homemade batch of Marigé. And I don't want it to get old. I want to use it. And like I said, I had a hard weekend. So this is my version of having a drink. How's that? It's an expensive drink. I'm going to a really nice bar and ordering from the top shelf. So here we go.
You deserve
All
it.
right. So again, remember what we said the painting was about? What the Yeah, you got to know that. Because if you don't start on your concept when you start, man, you're going to be here for about, I would guess, 57, 58 hours or days because the possibilities are limitless. But we're looking for a specific orange, and then we're going to look for specific greens and purples to help that orange look beautiful. Yeah? Yeah. So where was Sienna? This was Sienna. So what is this going to do? What is this going to do? So what happens? Just a little white. Ooh, and notice how that, it almost felt pink there to me for a second. So that would probably make a really pretty pink. Now, would that make a good skin tone for him? It very well might. Right, again, our color, just like our design and our painting, starts off very rough, very crude, and then we'll refine it. But, you know, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. I kind of like that. Kind of like that. Let's see what our neighbors will do. And again, when I'm doing this, I mean, I forget what color it is. I don't care what the name of the color is, right? I've never been a big, big on nomenclature, right? Simply meaning what we're going to call and categorize this. How does it work? How can we use it? What does it do? What does it not do? Those are the things. Oh, so this is a little bit more orange. Can you see that? It's got it. It's warmer than that. I mean that's a cold color. Man, warm your heart a little bit. Woo. Jeez. And not too. It's subtle. It's subtle, but that could make a difference. Now, as far as a focal point, I think this is a more attractive color that's going to be, um, you would go towards this color stronger and quicker than you would go towards that color. Can you guys see that? So this is how I'm thinking about more or less as I test these out, just seeing what they'll do. And again, it's just with white right now. What is this? So this is Terra Rosa. Hmm. Hmm. Can you see the difference between those on the screen? Yeah, good. Good, good, good. So you can on this, wait, excuse me for just a second, guys. Now this is you're gonna want to remember where you are. they want to know. They want to know if I put deodorant on or not. Do I smell good? Let them get right up there with us. Get them close. Okay. Okay, and then we know yellow ochre is going to bring us way over here. So, what is yellow ochre? And this yellow ochre's got a lot of oil in it. You can see immediately, right? Just visually, it's amazing. If somebody had told me this when I started, I'd been like, no way, man. Wow. But you can tell what a paint's doing by just the look of it, how it takes highlights, if you can see through it. Um, you can tell a lot. Okay, so remember I said that was really cold? Look at that warmy yum color when we just go with yellow ochre. Yeah, and where that burnt sienna that is again. And then let's go with our next one, which is transparent oxide lake. Right, and you can see transparent, so that means it's weak. Is that what it means? I don't know. Transparent seems weak to me. I can see through you. What are you saying? You want to fight? Whoa, 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 whoa. Clearly see you're angry. All right. Okay, so that's, again, this is much hotter, which is no surprise because with the white, it's also much hotter, warmer. Right, so the other thing that this is doing, again, if you think about it just for one painting, good God, do you know that? And then the canvas, and I'm going to spend thousands of dollars just trying to make this painting. Again, it's about your education. It's about you developing eyes and developing skills. Because if once you see this on your palette, what's happening, believe it or not, your eyes are getting more sensitive. You're starting to get better at differentiating this stuff. Maybe, maybe. Do you guys have a favorite so far? Again, within the concept of what we're trying to do. Within the concept of what we're trying to do, which is the color study that we did yesterday, right? So these were just general, I didn't worry about the colors. And so today what I'm doing is I'm exploring some colors and seeing which ones of these would work. And since he's basically the most important thing in this painting, what I'm concentrating on all of my oranges more than anything is skin tone. His skin tone. Now he's got skin tone in light and he's got skin tone in dark. So, Mr. Fancy Pants Jason, what's going to happen there? So what would this burnt sienna do if we added maybe just some black? We want black or red. See, I could go umber here, which is going to keep this warm but darken it up, which may be the thing, or I could go black. Did I put black out? There's black. Which is just going to kind of make it dark. So, all right, so I'm leaning towards burnt sienna right now. So, what I want to do is let's separate these other colors off of here. What I'm going to do is put it next to the piles where they belong to. So if this doesn't work out, we can come back, or maybe we need more than one orange. I don't know. Again, I highly discourage you from getting, saying, well, I could use this. And we want those big movements. Where people miss, it's with the big stuff. It's not the little subtle stuff.
Susan said, I couldn't see it until the warm and cool tones were side by side.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's so again, as I'm playing with this, I'm playing with it for a specific purpose, right? A man in light and shadow. And so if we have this as shadow, we could just take this whole thing right here. And if we call that shadow, then what's going to happen if we add a bit of white to that? And it goes to orange. Let's see here. To me, it goes pink, but also look at what's going to happen here. I could just gray it down with black. But I mentioned pink, didn't I? I feel just it's slightly pinkish. So if I mixed a green in there, is that going to make it more pink? Green is yellow and blue. Mixing yellow and blue is going to make a color more pink. Pretty odd, right? It's not rocket science. So the only color in here that has any red are my purples. So what if you put just a touch of that in there? What is that going to do to the skin tone? And I slipped and got more of a touch. But see, that's seeming a little more natural to me there. And if you guys have been with me, I always talk about color isn't really about seeing, right? Color isn't an element you see like values, right? Value is the visuality of the painting, the design of the painting. It separates the canvas. It makes the image visible. What the color does, the color is the mood of the painting. Color is the mood. So, okay, see, I'm feeling like that's something I can run with. I'm feeling like this could be really close to a path, right? That dirt path we want to see. And how else do I feel? Let's talk about my feelings for a little while, shall we? How are you guys feeling?
Susan said, will you say again why you added purple?
Why I added purple?
Yes.
Um, Again, it felt too circusy for me, too neon. The world we live in is pretty gray, really, if we really look at it, when compared to cad red and cadmium orange, or to the laundry detergent aisle in your grocery store, right? Those aren't colors of nature, and this is going on a man, and it's in the light, right? He's a dark-skinned man, and it needed to be cooled off. And the reason I added purple instead of green was I felt like I was seeing more pink and this was feeling more orange. So the question is what here is going to get me closer to pink? Well, green won't, because green is made up of blue and yellow. Purple is the only thing here with any red in it, and so that's why I graded off with purple. I hope that made sense, right? Could you follow that logic tree as fast as I? Sorry, it flows off my tongue a little bit, but I realize that if you don't know what I'm saying, it may take a minute to digest. So just yell at me and tell me to slow down, and I'll try. I try to slow. Sometimes if I slow down, I tip over. It's like riding a bike. Okay. And then what about tree trunk? I feel like the tree trunks are going to be real simple in there. All right. So with all of that settled, which it's not settled, we're just one step closer, right, to making a decision on the color scheme that we're going to use.
Susan said, I had to concentrate, but yes, thank you.
All right. I am part of what we're doing is I'm trying to get better at communicating with you guys. And I know my tempo is a problem sometimes. So like I said, I'm an introvert. I'm usually in my mind and usually don't have to convert things into words. So when I'm talking, it's like my thinking is slowing way down. And like riding a bike, I feel like I'm going to just hit the ground and tip over. But we'll work on it. We'll get this down together. Greens, greens, greens. So like I said, I don't think I'm going to use any of these, but I'm going to mix them up just to kind of show you. I mean, hey, spend a few bucks to set them out. Let's make a lesson of it. So when I add white to my permanent green light, boom. Does anybody see a green light? I see a green light. I see mint ice cream is what I see. But what's the purpose of green in this painting? Because why? Because we were always going back to the concept. We're always going back to the concept. We're always going back to the concept. What about now? You know what? You should go back to the concept. Always go back to the concept. That's what you're measuring everything against. Our concept is the orange supported by the green. Is this green going to support that orange? Not in 3 trillion years, right? Not in 3 trillion years would it be supportive. You know, some people just aren't supportive kind of people. Green's one of them, at least for that kind of person. So, what? Okay. You laid it out, Jason. At least put some yellow ochre in it. Okay. Why are you guys always yelling at me? Not trying to cheat you or anything. All right, here we go. Oh, that's not you inside my head? All right. I didn't mean to blame you.
I feel like you're giving us a glimpse inside your brain. I thought I was the only one that had conversations with myself, so I feel so much better.
Good. Like I said, I'm an introvert trying to perform here. I could see that color being beautiful in lots of circumstances, but again, I feel like it would dominate there. Wait, what are you talking about? Well, what if we went, right, that's the brightest. What if we went to the grayest green and tried that same experiment? What kind of colors we come up with? So was that jasper I was telling you about? I think it's a specific Vasari color that they mixed up. I'm not sure, but I've had it for years, and at some point you just got to use it. Right? Why are we letting paint go bad? Just use it. So there. Well, let's just bring it to the same value. By the time I get to the same value, see, look, this color is sensitive like me. It's overly influenced by other people. So, but, you know, next to that, it doesn't even look green. But what about, we don't care about it next to that. What about next to there? Ooh, well, that's certainly going to go away. That is certainly going to go away. I could see that being some beautiful distant trees with just a ton of atmosphere on them, right? How distant is that going to be? I don't know. And again, look how supportive it is of that. So what will happen to this jasper if we took it down to a dark tree value? Is it still going to be supportive of our orange? Our orange needs support, man. Orange has got a big job to do, right? So we got to give it some support. All right. So How are we going to darken green? How are we going to darken green? We want to keep this warm. We want to darken it. We might grab some purple, but remember, this is a sensitive guy here. This guy's sensitive. So just for that reason, all I'm going to do is add a touch of black. Oh, was that enough? Was that enough to go darker? Well, yeah. All right, so if you have the choice of looking at this green or this orange, you're going to the orange, right? And so that's what I mean as a supporting role. Whereas if you have the choice, or you don't have a choice, right? You lost the game. How did I lose the game? Well, because you did not accomplish what you were trying to accomplish, which was making the orange the star of the show. It is so important in painting because it can get so vast and complex, but that only happens if you're working outside of a concept. If you're working inside of a concept, literally all you got to do is look and see. Is this stronger or this weaker? Is this stronger or is this weaker? Now, granted, it takes a little time to learn that. So now, what would happen if we add some yellow to this? So I'm trying to see if how strong can we get this green in light though, right? We know it's going to gray off, but if we wanted to kind of light this up, and again, this isn't a clear daylight. This is a gray daylight, right? Light matters, right? Are you in the red light district? Are you being lit up by the red light? Well, you're going to look different than if you're lit by a gray skylight versus a clear blue sky with sun hitting you. So with this light, does the orange still win? And the question is, I mean, the answer is yes. And if you guys will remember, we talked about just behind his head having a little spark of more. And I called it yellow, but I mean, we're not going to go yellow, meaning it just being the most yellow thing up there. Well, yellow ochre is as strong as we've got. If we had a little yellow ochre and white, I hope you guys are, I'm trying to externalize my thoughts a bit here. And what I hope you're seeing is I'm not saying I'm going to do. Never when I approach the paint am I approaching it with, I am going to. Okay? But it's always with a question of what do I want to accomplish? What am I doing here? And all I'm trying to do is make that orange look pretty. I want that orange to look pretty, and I want you to look here, and then I want you to go to this spot, and then I want you to go to that spot, and then can I go home? So look, that gets plenty powerful, right? We can always weaken that, but the question is, do we need a stronger yellow? And the answer is no. Right, that's already too strong. At least solid like that, maybe little specks of it or something wouldn't be. Okay, so I'm very happy with the Jasper, but look, so let's see what it does. Let's see what it does. Maybe something else will come in, you know. We're only in 7th grade, right? Yeah, sure, you're in love, but is it going to last for, I don't know. So let's see what else is out there, right? Let's see what else is out there. Like I feel this color, it's a really strong cool. And again, what's the difference between cools and warms? Our eyes prefer the warms. So straight out of the bag, it's a little bit strong, but almost straight out of the bag, it almost falls behind that. So it probably wouldn't take very much. Where's our ivory? Ivory, dinner time, buddy. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Time to get to work. What was that commercial? Hungry? Hungry Jack?
Oh my god, that's a flashback. I was watching
Yeah.
the dogs perk up with you doing that.
Oh, yeah. Any talk about a food brand and they perk up. You don't have to. I guess we all got to love something. That's what they love. So this is just with black. And so we can get a good dark in there. So that's not too bad. What would this look like with yellow? And what else is happening here as I'm going through all this paint? And something else happening that I'm not even aware of? Yeah, your Jedi skills. Your Jedi skills are improving as you try to pick this up and move it there and get these little pots and not pick that up. When you first start doing this, it's a bloody mess. You get some of this in there and some of that in there and some of this in there. And before you're done, it's all mixed into one pile and you're like, oh. Well, that was a fun $300. It's not $300, but you get my point. You get my point. Right? You get to improve your Jedi skills. That was the point. Okay, now to me, this is markedly warmer than that. Right? And we can adjust it by the amount of that green we put in there. So is that something? Maybe. Maybe. So if we wanted the potential of a little bit more, we might think of that cool green, which is what? Is that the Terra Verde from, yeah, Brenttoinico. Nico, I recognize Nico. He's one of our little chess players. So where are we at?
222.
222. Oh my goodness. Is this really going to end in 8 minutes? Is this really going to end in 8 minutes? So why don't I decide, do I want a purple to go with these? Do I want a purple to go with these? What do I want? Jason, how are you feeling? Well, you know what? Jason doesn't really have anything to do with any of this. Because why? Because the paint works what it does. It's either stronger than the orange or it's not stronger than the orange. Right? It's not what you feel as if it's too much, if it's enough, right? You feel the concept that you're trying to do. That's what you're feeling. Like, I feel this could very quickly ruin this painting if it was put in there like that. Do you guys see? I mean, it doesn't take brilliant eyes. You just got to start close and get some harmony and then, uh, but that's the only color I have and I really want to use it. Can I use it? Well, of course you can. You just can't use it straight out of the tube. Wait, what? Well, how could you make that not so strong? Well, you could easily mix it with all the colors that are already in our palette that we're working with here. That's one way you could do it. The other way is just decide on what value you need. I could just grab my gray, but if you don't have gray, boom, black and white till you get to the value you want. Like I said, it's really not rocket science. We're people think that they don't have the knowledge to mix the right colors. That's really not the case because most of us, after a little bit of study, can figure this out. What the case is you're not coming up with a context in which to use the colors. So you have nothing to measure against, right? Because color doesn't exist as an absolute. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, like math, the number 2. Well, is that mean the same thing next to a 3 as it does next to a 4, next to a 100? Yeah, the number 2 always means the number 2. But color changes depending on what it's next to. So now that purple, do you guys see that? I could see that very easily fitting into this scheme. All right. Can you guys see that? Why don't you come back wide to, or yeah, no, stay on the palette. Stay on the palette. Yeah, you can widen it out a little bit if you want. But are you guys kind of catching my drift here? Is all you have to do is kind of look and see if it feels good on the palette. Now, you can't wake up tomorrow and have that vision. How do you get that vision? Well, Susan, you're going to have to squirt out some paint and mix it up. That'll probably just end up in the trash can. But that's the education, right? It's the education. Again, I'm not encouraging anybody to be wasteful, but we all come into this with that mindset of not wasting any paint. If you want to learn to paint, you've got to go through some paint. You've got to waste paint, right? Oh, my secret dirty little allergy habit. That's you guys, we're getting too personal here. Okay. All right. Any questions or whatever before we lose it? So I'm going to play with this some more, and I'm probably going to do even a little sketch with these out on a canvas right now since I have this paint out. But we've been going an hour, so I think we're enough. So any last minute questions that come in? We'll give a minute or two for those to come in because there's a bit of a delay between what I say when you hear it. And of course, it needs a few minutes to get back to us. Would Izzy die if I did a dance? Okay. No, I'd probably die.
Oh, come on.
Hey, I'm in a very subtle.
Triple
I'm in a
dog
very.
dare you.
I'm in a very subtle state right now.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You're harshing my mellow, man. I just got all these really nice and mellow colors, and here you're coming in with your permanent green light. Like, let's party! Dang it, Cindy. Take your permanent green light and cad yellow and go in the
No,
backyard.
mine would be more the purple that you said would kill the paint.
All right, it's all right to have different tastes. Yeah, so Susan, so we're doing personal paintings this month, and Susan asked, she spent a couple hours on the dogs. Yeah, send it in for Friday, and then also I'd like you guys to keep sending it in. Again, I can't guarantee I'll get to it, but what I would love the morning jump starts to be is if we could see some progress on some of these after you guys work on them, and then maybe come back 2 or 3 times so that it not only benefits you, but it benefits the people. Everybody gets to benefit from it, right? Why not? Why not? We're doing it, so why not give it for a benefit? So the answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. And if I do end up using it earlier, then what? Then we'll let you know. Okay. We might do another round. Tom got the dogs on the beach reoriented, so we might be doing that tomorrow morning. We'll see. I haven't got that far yet. I'm still mixing colors. My gosh, I can't see the future. I'm a painter, not a, what are they? Psychics? Crystal ball. I want a crystal ball. I want a crystal ball and I want that headband. I want to paint with a crystal ball and a headband, and I think my paintings will get better. And jewelry, lots of jewelry.
Okay.
So that when I do that, you can hear it hit the glass and just run through the paint.
Wait, when you do what?
When I mix, right? So my dangles could be like going through my paint and all of that. And then I could have a real painting over here. Then I could have another painting that my jewelry just dangles on. And then that painting that the jewelry dangles on will be abstract, and we can sell that for like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that can keep us going so we can do the real art. Anyway, I think we should get out of my brain now. All right. Everybody, thank you for being here, and we'll see you tonight for what's tonight? What's it called? Masterworks.
Masterworks. Thank you. If you have not already liked, thumbs up this video, please do. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, it's in the bottom corner, the little red box. Hit that. In the meantime, thanks for joining us. We will see you guys later.